Welcome back to another episode of the podcast of Brand Bites. Jumping straight into our first topic, which is a U.S. firm unveiled a game-changing small nuclear reactor that can power 300,000 homes. Now, this actually looks pretty sleek and small. It seems that there's actually only one reactor here. For those of you not able to see this, I mean, it looks pretty small. I guess there's some cars for reference that are nowhere near the building, so it's kind of hard to judge. Maybe it's bigger than it looks, but it appears to only have one reactor here. Now, the Westinghouse is the company that's announced this and has announced the launch of the AP300, a smaller version of its flagship AP1000 nuclear reactor. This is an effort to extend access to nuclear power and demand for clean energy since that's on the rise. Unfortunately, people have a bad perception of nuclear reactors, but they're actually really safe today and are probably the best source we have. Now, the AP300 is expected to cost around $1 billion per unit, and that's way less than the AP1000's anticipated $6.8 billion. So that will produce about 300 megawatts of electricity compared to the AP1000's 1,200 and power right around our 300,000 households. Now, the game-changer technology that this brings to us is it's accessible to customers soon, as in by 2027, this could be used in the U.S. It'd be simpler to replace coal plants with these smaller nuclear reactors, and it will generate about the same power as one of those coal plants would in the first place, which makes it super easy to just kind of swap these in and out. So unlike previous generations, which used these large integrated utilities, were huge, they're massive reactors, and produced a lot of power but took up a lot of space, took up more space than a coal plant would. This is going to cut down on that and make them take up way more. It has the same security measures as the AP1000, both passive types of cooling systems, which are super important. If basically the point of having these passive cooling systems is extremely important, because at Fukushima, if the AP1000 had been used there instead of what they were using, that incident wouldn't have been an issue with how the cooling system works in these current ones, which is what makes them such a giant game changer. So hopefully this will be something we see in the future for the US. Hopefully they'll start using it in these smaller towns and power things with something renewable, something easy to build and easy to replace other factories with. Obviously, $1 billion per reactor is expensive, but in the long term, for clean, green energy, it is one of the best ways we can do it, especially now that they're starting to understand how to use nuclear waste and not let that just be so bad for the environment right away. Following topic here is Lucid announces a major earning miss, which causes their stocks to crumble. According to their latest earning report, the company has pulled in $149.4 million in revenue, resulting in a net loss of $779.5 million. This missed expectations by about $60 million in revenue. The expectations are around $209 million. Earnings, that's going to hit a big loss. Lucid earnings did grow year over year quite substantially, up 159%. People were just hoping for quite a bit more than that. Now, I think of Lucid as a close competitor with EV makers such as Tesla and Rivian. For some reason, I put them up there as they're closer than they really are, because Lucid actually doesn't build as many vehicles as you would think. The company is on track to produce about 10,000 vehicles this year alone, which is, in all honesty, not that many, and they're high-end vehicles, but they're not like original roadster, like sport car high-end, where they're going to be super expensive. They're nice cars, they look great, but that's just, I don't know. To miss earnings like that, I feel like Lucid should be bigger than they are. Or maybe I'm confusing them with Polestar, but Polestar is pretty big, I think. So it'd be great to see Lucid kind of figure it out a little bit here. I don't know if people just don't know about Lucid or what's going on here. So Lucid sold about 1,406 vehicles in the first quarter this year and built about 2,314, which is not great for the automakers that they're not shipping as many as they're building. They need a more flamboyant CEO, it sounds like. Someone like Elon Musk, which is our next topic as well here. Elon Musk says Tesla will give everyone 1 month of free full self-driving, but not quite yet. So one of the things he was saying on Twitter the other day is when they update their self-driving cars, they will make sure they are safer and therefore run maybe a little bit clunkier or not as smooth in the names of being extra safe. And then the following updates are supposed to be to make it safer. So current people are getting access to full self-driving. That said, it's not super smooth yet. Tesla wants to wait until it's super smooth to give it to every owner in North America for a month. The CEO has had a fixation on people not understanding the full value of Tesla's full self-driving package, which they now sell for $15,000. Now, that is a lot. Tesla has never released the take rate percentage of Tesla buyers who order the feature, but we deduce that it's between 15 to 20% based on previous data from Tesla, which doesn't sound like that much. I'm surprised, because if I were to go with an electric car, one of the main reasons I would go with a Tesla would be for the self-driving. Like, that would be one of my first expectations there, is to get a car that has that. I would actually be looking for that. And they're the only ones in the game that have it available on basically every road, versus other cars, they scan the road, then they have it, kind of thing. Now, there are two things that Tesla could do to greatly increase the purchases of full self-driving beta. One of the big things would be to make it transferable between new car purchases. So if you buy it, say for your account, you just get it for your account. I think they're never going to do that, because I think they're going to move it to subscription before they ever do that. The other thing is doing what they're talking about doing already, which is offer free trials of full self-driving, as in a free month for everybody. I think that'll be a great way to get people to understand what it's really worth. The only thing I would say is you almost need to do it a few months, because most people that buy an electric car today probably don't drive too much. Therefore, they don't actually put that many miles on their car, or would use self-driving enough to make it worth, like, after a month, he might not know, is it worth the price, or am I really going to use this every day? So they almost need to do it longer than that, or move it to the subscription service faster so that it's more digestible for consumers. They got to change something here, because $15,000 is a lot extra for a car just to get that, especially for people that are first time doing it and don't really understand the convenience that it brings to the table, even right now, before it's actually fully capable of doing it on its own. Now, at this point, every percentage point of owners they can convince to buy full self-driving beta is, likely around $300 million worth of revenue that it can create, which is an absolutely huge opportunity. But it's just, they really, really need to make it happen and give people a long trial of it. This is supposed to probably come around the end of the year and allow people to try it for the first time. And I think the rest of our articles are going to be pretty much on Tesla, because they did a bunch of cool stuff this past week. So next up, we have that Tesla is increasing lithium refining capacity, which is going to be crucial to a sustainable energy economy. Today, they're breaking ground, as in yesterday, on their new in-house lithium refinery outside of Corpus Christi, Texas. This facility will prioritize the elimination of a challenging refinery byproduct, sodium sulfate. Instead, the byproduct is a mixture of sand and calcium carbonate, a viable additive in the production of construction materials, allowing them to make use of the waste downstream. So instead of having a waste product that they can't use and is pollution, they can hopefully turn most of it into another product to sell for other things. In the future, they will also process other intermediate lithium feedstocks, including those from recycled batteries and manufactured scrap, which is sick. And they're breaking ground starting now. I believe that this is supposed to be ready to go by a year from now. They're going to be able to start doing stuff, is I believe what I read. This will also produce enough battery-grade lithium to support production of 1 million cars annually. So about double what Tesla ships right now, which, not to say that they won't be hitting that by the end of the year anyways, but nonetheless, not quite there yet. Now, the goal of the new plant is to produce lithium hydroxide to support its own battery cell production in Gigafactory, Texas, and Austin. Also, by being in Corpus Christi, their New Mexico plant is fairly close to that as well. So probably for both of those plants. And at the ceremony, they showed some other pretty cool stuff. Basically, this plant is going to cost around $365 million, which will employ about 165 people full-time, plus another 250 construction jobs for about 2 years. Now, again, I believe within a year, construction should be finished and full production will be achieved in 2025, I believe is what I understood, if I understood correctly. Basically, Elon called this the license to print money because there's not enough lithium refineries in the world, and that is why they're doing it in-house. Just like everything else that they do, just bring it in-house, which leads us to our last and final topic, which is they kind of teased the Cybertruck at this event. Elon drove a Cybertruck up on stage with a new Cybertruck accessory, a rugged-looking tool rack that fits on the bed of the truck. He had both the Texas and American flag hanging off of that. Now, when Tesla had first unveiled this back in 2019, they talked about a few possible accessories it would make for the pickup truck. However, that was 4 years ago. And obviously, we have heard almost nothing since. Now we're finally close to production, and now we're seeing some of these accessories. Now, there's not a ton of photos of it. Like, I don't know if people were allowed to go up that close. I wasn't able to watch the event. But it would enable basically a way to lay things flat on the roof or bed. So basically it goes in line, as you can see here. For those of you listening, if you think of the Cybertruck's TP, in the entire back half where the tailgate would be, this roof rack basically stands up flat to the peak of the actual cabin itself, so that you have like a flat top basically. And then it's a mesh looking side. And I believe they had the shovels on there that they broke ground with, which looks like they were made in-house as well. But yeah, just a cool accessory, just something they're showing off and add on. Who knows how much they're going to actually charge for this? Probably quite a bit because it's Tesla. But they do aim to bring Cybertruck into production this summer with first deliveries around the end of Q3. And full volume production is not expected until next year. Way behind timeline, but this shows that we're actually getting here. This will be cool to see, just for putting things on the side for construction people, carrying ladders, lumber, piping, other technical stuff. There's a lot of cool things you can do with racks. Obviously, you're going to hang stuff on them. Well, Tesla hasn't said anything about the accessory as they normally do. It's free marketing if you say nothing but show it. And that is Tesla's style, is to do free marketing. And the last little part here is after the event, it was started. They spotted the Cybertruck stuck in a field with seemingly Elon and some other Tesla employees looking around confused. Now, this doesn't mean it broke down. We don't know anything else other than there's this video of the Cybertruck. This, I don't know how you can't hold your phone more still, video of the truck stuck out here in a field. It's definitely like in the field. Like that's not on the road anymore. But fascinating. I don't know. I would guess it probably didn't break down. Maybe they actually got it stuck, because I'm guessing that thing weighs a metric shitload and it got stuck out there. But who really has to say here? Clearly they're testing it more than they say they are, or more than we think they are, because it looks pretty muddy, like it wasn't just, or at least the front here does, as if they weren't just driving on a dirt road. Funny enough, getting towed out by not an electric vehicle. And that is it. So with that, thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. If you like something, let me know down below. If you see some improvements to make, also let me know. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.